Hi, it's Amanda from Always in Love. We are here with a new review. Today we are reviewing Good Girl by Lauren Layne. It's a favorite of ours. So this book is about a country performer, Jenny Dawson, who has a lot of things negative said about her in the paparazzi. So it's kind of hard for her to concentrate. So she wants to get away from it all to write her next album to kind of escape where nobody can rat her out to the paparazzi, where no one can see her, or nobody can find her. And she ends up renting this house from a Noah Maxwell, who we find out is actually Preston Noah Maxwell Walcott, who is a he puts on a charade to that he's a small country boy when really he is, kind of big money in the finance and things like that. So the story is kind of about them where they bicker and they fight. He thinks she's a spoiled country princess, and she thinks he's, just some annoying country boy who's trying to make her life miserable. So it's all about bickering, fighting back and forth, and their dogs. She has the little um, Yorkie dog, and he has the big bloodhound type dog, and their dogs end up falling in love too. And it's a really fun story. So Natasha is here to tell you more about our um, man of the week, Preston Noah Maxwell Walcott.
What a mouthful, my goodness. But he's a Southern man. And so what kind of drew me to it is that he kind of he grew up with nothing, and then he finds out later in life that he comes from his dad is this wealthy man, and he's kind of left with a lot of money. So he has two friends that are from both worlds, one from his true childhood that knows him as Noah, and then he has his rich hoity-toity end of his life, which know him as Preston. And it's fun because he's one of those guys that doesn't need the wealth to be happy. For him to be happy, it's putting his hands to work. It's restoring the quarters of the house that he's restoring for Jenny, because this is the house that Jenny used when she first got into country music. That's kind of where she got her start was. And her dad, or his dad, sorry, he owned this home and he rented it out to these country music stars or kind of up and coming to kind of like start their career. It was like a music um, getaway. And Noah finds out that his dad actually owns it. And the only reason why he finds out about it is because when Jenny's going through all this heartache and getting accused of things and, being attacked by the paparazzi, she emails the account saying, hey, I would like to come back where I all started and kind of just do it. So Noah's like, I got a house out nowhere in Louisiana. So he shows up there with his friends and he like falls in love with it and starts kind of putting it back together because it's something that he likes. He likes working with his hands. And he just brings so much about that. And I think why I resonated and why he's my beyond 5-star book is this Good Girl is because he's normal. He's just he's kind of like their banter towards each other is like they don't like each other at first. It's like he's like this chick is walking around with on eggshells. Oh, I'm gonna get dirty, and she has a rat dog, and here he has this bloodhound, this man's dog, and she's just like screw you and the horse she rode in on. She just doesn't care. She's normal, and these two kind of go through this and kind of just go through this thing, and they find out that they have a lot more in common, and they come to common ground, and they turn, they're just, they don't like each other to something that they actually start falling for each other and have this romantic relationship and moves on to something more. And she still thinks he's Noah from the other side of the tracks, not Preston, full of money. And so she just thinks he's this hired hand, and he never corrects her. And I think that's kind of interesting because I always thought that's going to bite you in the ass. One day it's going to bite you in the ass. And sure enough, they go through that. And I think his friends bring a lot of humor to it
Yeah.
because, they're just funny just in the self of them all getting together. But I like this book so much. When it ended, I was like, no,
I know.
she can write a whole entire series about these two, and I would just be glued to it because it's just it was great writing, and the story just was, it resonated with me, and I so in love with it. And I know you did, because you're like, Tasha, you have to read this book.
Yeah, it really is. This is one of those books where the people are, they might be, this wealthy guy in this famous country, but they're so relatable. That's what's so great about this book is it's so relatable. They're just, going back and forth. He thinks she's the spoiled, stuck-up princess, and she thinks he's this brooding caretaker that is just kind of, there to annoy her and make her life miserable. But it's more about the way that it was written. It it's so good, so it kind of immerses you in their world, with the banter, with the dogs, and you kind of fall for them as they're falling for each other. There, I mean, there's a lot of really great scenes where she she gets mad at him and she writes an angry song and she's belting it out, and he's just kind of chuckling to himself because he knows it's about him. And then he hears her singing this really great love song, and it kind of changes things. There's all these different the way that the music plays into it, and the way that his friends and everything just kind of plays in this book. And it could have been really contrived. It could have been really boring, but the way that it's written is so not. It's so interesting. It's so engaging, and I really, really loved. I finished this book and then I started it over immediately again because it was that good. And then every time you go through, you catch something different. You catch something different in their banter. You laugh harder at something that one of the dogs does, and it's just really. It was a really good book. I really liked Jenny. She was really feisty. You would think that she was, this diva or whatever from, the way the paparazzi portrayed her in the beginning, but she's really just this feisty country girl who never really changed, which is great. But one of my favorite lines was actually the first line in the book, and it looks like, oh my, I have a burrito baby again. So, I mean, there's things like that through the whole book. Was she ate dinner basically, and they thought she was pregnant. So, I mean, it was all things like that that she can escape. We see that stuff in the media all the time, so you can kind of understand what she's going through.
Yeah.
And it just made everything so engaging. Um, and you're right. I want to read about these characters all the time. There were no, there was no drama just for drama's sake. It was all things that would really happen. Like one of the dogs goes to chase a rabbit or something and gets lost. Her dog gets lost. And so I mean, it's just things that probably normally would happen if you're restoring this house kind of in the middle of nowhere that hasn't been taken care of for a while. It was really great the way that it was written. She was such a smart, funny, fun. She wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty and do some work on the house when it needed to be, and she was completely full of sass. So that it was just kind of between her character and then Noah's broodiness and his sassiness back to her and the bickering, and he was everything about it just made him kind of our top shelf boyfriend for the week. Everything about the story just kind of made it really enjoyable to read. It was definitely a 5 star, and I'm glad that I finally talked you into reading this.
Earth. Well, and I think that's why, because and you know how much I love music, and I surround myself with a lot of music. I'm really active in a lot of different music stuff, and so when he's sitting there on the porch and she's writing the one song, and he's working, and he's looking up at her, and he's like, man, he could just feel her, feel the pain and the angst she had in it. And then the next time she's writing something else, and he almost anticipates it and is waiting for it every day. And I think that's why I liked it, because he didn't just fall for her, he fell in love with all of her
Yeah,
and everything about her, and was so determined to just show her that, yes, he comes from nothing. She's thinking that, and then those two, these don't. They actually have a lot of commonality, that they're hardworking. They come from something more, and I really, I don't know. He's like, it's probably beyond 5 stars for me in the top bookshelf. He's up there with a few of our favorite guys.
yeah, definitely. He definitely is. This is one of my favorite Lauren Lane books. This, along with the other one in the series, Blurred Lines, which I love this series because these books are not connected in any way, in any shape, in anything. They're two completely different characters, But I love this the idea of this series because it's called Love Unexpectedly, and it's just this group of different stories that these unexpected characters end up falling in love, and that's what's really great about um, this kind of series. Instead of following the same people, the same thing, it's something completely new each time, and it's a really cool idea. I really enjoy this series a lot. I encourage you to pick up Blurred Lines as well. It's the first one in the series. It was really good as well. I'm sure we'll do a review on it sometime. But I thank you for joining us. Is there anything else that we forgot?
No, I think we hit it all.
Okay, yeah. Other than our great love of this series, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. All of the book information and Lauren Lane's information, if you want to check out her other books, that kind of thing, is going to be in the description. Please like and subscribe to our Facebook page and our stories. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have fun videos planned, and we have some pretty cool things coming up soon. We hope to tell you more about that this week. So thank you for joining us.